Hi guys, it's Chloe and welcome back to my channel. But today I'm going to be spilling the tea, pun intended, about our old oven. And I'm also going to be talking about our new oven. So this is going to be a tea spilling slash skill series slash product review wrapped into one. So I'm super excited to get into this video. And on that note, we're going to get started. So I'm going to first do a tea spilling time on the oven. So a bit of background info, but the house we're in was pre-loved by another couple. I like to say pre-loved because it makes it sound more homey. And I said couple and not family because I don't think they had kids that I knew of, but not the point. And we were told by their real estate agent and the couple themselves, because they had to tell everything to the agent, that all the appliances in the kitchen were no more than a year old. However, when we looked at the house and bought it, we noticed that the oven didn't look brand new. It was stainless steel like the rest of the appliances. Also, we went to go look underneath the grate, which is like the big circle that is put on top so the flame can go around it. We were able to see underneath there and everything looked crusty, rusty, dusty. However, the oven still worked, so we didn't think much of it. And last month, I went to go use the oven to bake some double chocolate chip cookies. So I went to go bake them and the oven preheated like normal. The first batch came out phenomenal, but the other two didn't turn out and they were raw. They weren't overbaked, they were raw. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm just having a bad bake day, bad stroke of luck. I'm gonna yeet those in the trash and I'm gonna just go to sleep. So I yeeted it, cleaned up, went to sleep. Then a couple days later, I go to use the oven and it takes a lot longer to preheat. But then it was finally done, or at least I thought, because it went off stating that it was done. It went wee. And I go to put in my homemade Italian bread to cook. I cooked it for exactly 28 minutes, which is how long it takes to cook in the oven. And I've done this in the past and it's always turned out after 28 minutes without fail. I go to pull it out and it was raw. And the cookie sheet cooled within 2 minutes. And I'm thinking, that's not normal. And then I went to go feel the inside of the oven. I had a glove on, but when I went to go open it, it didn't feel like 400 degrees, which is what it was preheated to. But also it wasn't room temp enough to where I could not wear a glove, if that makes any sense. I'm like, okay, this thing isn't working. So I'm going to go in the basement and trip the breaker switch. Typically, it's found in a basement or it's found, if you don't have a basement, you'll typically have some sort of like electrical closet where your HVAC is kept, as well as your water heater and the electrical panel to trip the breakers. So I went downstairs and tripped the breaker switch in the basement. So I was able to trip the breaker switch. However, I went to go preheat the oven and it still wouldn't work. The prior owners never told us where they got all the appliances. So something that you can do, which is what I did too, is you can find the serial number, and that's typically found either A, on the part of the oven door that swings out. It's typically found on the left or right hand side, or it's found on the left or right hand side of the inside of the oven. And I was going to jot down the number and call around to all the appliance and hardware stores in the area and have them yeet in the serial number to see if they bought the appliance from there. And it was blacked out on top because the oven was so old, but I was able to take a look and it said that it was a Kenmore appliance. And then when I went to go look for the serial number, it said that if the oven needed fixing to contact Sears. Well, Sears is online only now and they don't have a brick and mortar store near me, or one 100 miles away, because I looked on their website. I was thinking, okay, I'm going to look up a manual or parts for it because they didn't leave that with us either. And I went to go look and there was no manual or no parts. So I'm thinking, okay, this thing's, broke-o and it's old. We got to get a new one. So I called my mom and I said, hey, Mom, our oven's broken, because she was on her way back home from an emergency that was over with. And she was like, okay. So I'm going to show you our new oven. But before I do, I am going to be talking about how we chose this oven. First off, you want to see if your oven is either gas or electric. And how you can tell is if you have grates that are like removable and stuff, and when you go to turn it on, there are flames that spew out, then it's gas. However, if it's just flat and there are no flames that spew out of the sides, then it's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie. Pun intended. Another thing you want to do too is you want to measure your old oven, or at least the space that you have where the oven would have been. That way you know what size to get, because ovens come in various sizes. We did all that, and then what my mom and I did is not sponsored, but I swear appliances always pick the perfect time to die, because ours died around President's Day. And again, not sponsored, but Lowe's and Home Depot were having President's Day sales up to 40% off an appliance plus free delivery. Basically, what we did was we went online and started looking at reviews from other websites and theirs on the best brand of oven, but also ovens themselves. And we were sharing them via text back and forth. Then after that, we sat down together and we picked out our favorite. After we picked out our top 3, we went to Home Depot. We met with a woman there who worked in that quadrant. She was very nice. She showed us all the gas ranges. And the one that I ended up picking was the one that we went with. And I have the paperwork right here as to what it was, but we went with a GE 30-inch 5-burner slide-in smart gas convection range in stainless with easy wash oven tray and no preheat air fry. Whew, try saying that 10 times fast. I know I can't. The oven itself was originally $1,649. However, it got whacked down to $999, so basically $1,000. So we saved over $600, but the reason why it was $999 instead of $1,000, because I learned this little psychological trick on the internet, but when something is sold to you, retailers and stuff like to have the price end in start or end with a 9 or a 7. That way, it looks like in your mind is going to think that you got a good deal. And then we had to pay $39.98 for a gas kit, because we have a gas, like behind there, we had all the wiring and stuff, but they needed to give us new wiring, because with every new oven, you have to get new wiring. We paid $50 to have our old appliance hauled away. And then to install it, it was $79. Because again, ending in a 9 or 7 tricks your brain into thinking that you're getting a good deal. And then the delivery was free. We got no other discounts on top of that. So discounts would be like employee discounts, which I don't know if they give out. Or if you actually work for the brand or whatever, they give a discount, which again, I don't know. Sales tax was $72.73. Again, that's 7 and 9 tactic. And then your order total was $1,240.71. They took our, a debit or credit card, but they didn't charge you until they delivered the appliance. So our balance due was nothing, literally nothing at the time. And then when you got the appliance, they charged you. So I'm going to get into the oven. And I'm going to get the sheet of paper and read off what it is because it's a really long name. But it is a GE 30-inch 5-burner slide-in smart gas convection range in stainless with easy wash oven tray and no preheat air fry. Try saying that 10 times fast. I know I wouldn't be able to. Hence why I got the sheet. And this oven is part of their GE Profile series. And we, like our fam, had a profile ovens. It was like a double wall oven when we built our old house, and we moved in like 2004, 2005, and then in 2021 we got new ones. So it lasted us a very long time. I don't have the bandwidth or capacity to do the girl math right now, but if someone else wants to do it, go ahead. This is also a smart appliance, which means that it can be controlled by an app that you can download either on the Google Play Store or the App Store. I believe you can also download the app on an iPad and a smartwatch, but don't quote me on that. It's really easy to connect to. So what you have to do is there's a Wi-Fi button right here, and you go on the app and then they just pair together when you go to set it up. Another thing is that GE stated on their website that this oven is ADA compliant. And ADA, yes, does stand for the American Dental Association. However, that is not what we're talking about today. It is the Americans with Disabilities Act. So we're gonna see if this is actually accessible. We've got the grates here, and that's what I was talking about as far as a gas oven. And they're removable, and you also have the griddle here. And you can get a grill attachment if you want, but it costs extra, and my mom and I just decided not to do it. But if we want to do it in the future, I'm pretty sure the place we went to buy this, Home Depot, or their website would have it. The griddle is very heavy. However, when I went to go pick it up, it didn't leave a residue on my hands, which is great. But you can remove the griddle, and if you're using a huge stock pot, you can play Tetris, and you can combine them together and turn on all the burners. And then I put everything back. So again, the griddle's a little bit heavy, as well as these grates. So for anyone that struggles to lift heavy objects, then this may be a struggle for you too. And then we've got the knobs here, as well as this panel with all the buttons and stuff. And I really like it all up front because the ones at our old house were built into the wall, and then we had a separate cooktop. So I'm not counting that. I'm just counting our other oven. We had to like reach in the back and stuff and turn it. And the thing is that that's a fire hazard, number one. And number two is, for anyone that's in a wheelchair, like I use mine as needed, when you go to sit down, you have to you aren't able to reach the back. This way, it's all up front and it's easy for you to see everything. The only thing I will say is that if you have a child, they could easily very well get into this. So it may not be the best for a child, but there is a lock control. So I'm assuming that's like child control or something, which would ultimately work really well. These are all like the buttons here. And we have the bake, the broil, the air fry, no preheat. Warm, convect, fresh reheat, pizza, no preheat. Cook time, steam clean, which is to clean the inside of the oven. The clock, the Wi-Fi, the oven light, start, cancel, lock control. Then your numbers 1 through 0 and a timer. And then it's got the actual time. And then it's got this little square thing, which means that it's connected to an app and it's got the Wi-Fi. And then there's like a little scan now here button that you can scan to download the app. And I will show you guys the app in a hot second. So the only thing is that the buttons aren't really tactile. So for somebody that has vision issues or is blind, this would not be really good. These buttons, you would probably have to get little stickers and stuff with Braille on them to be able to figure it out. And then I'm gonna go onto the inside of the oven. Okay, so you have these. These are very lightweight and easy to remove. And then this is the Easy Wash removable tray. But all you have to do is remove the tray and you can yeet it straight into the dishwasher, which I'm probably gonna have to do with this one. And then if we go even further, so this, you may just think, oh, it's for decoration. How pretty. No. It is a warming drawer. However, we haven't needed to use it yet. But still, it's a warming drawer. But the only thing is that as a wheelchair user, it may be a lot harder to be able to use the warming drawer because it's so low to the ground, which is one of the reasons why we never got a double oven gas range, because of that very same reason. So now I'm gonna get on to the app, Smart HQ. And on here, you can manage your account, and also you can get subscriptions. So like for instance, let's say you have a fridge and you need to get water filters delivered every month. Instead of going out to the store to buy the filters, you can order them online, which is really good for somebody that is disabled and they need somebody like a caretaker or whatever to transfer them into their wheelchair, or they don't have the funds to be able to get like an Uber or Lyft and go out to the store and get what they need. So that works really well, but I don't need it because our fridge isn't GE. Then we'll go on to the oven status, and the only thing you cannot control is the cooktop from here, but that tracks because you don't want to start a fire. The oven, you can choose to bake, convection bake multi, convection roast, frozen pizza, air fry, or reheat. So I'm going to do the bake, and we'll set it to, let's say, 400. And then, you know, you can choose a cook time if you want. So there's that. And then you can also delay the start of the oven to have it start preheating at a specific time, which works really well if you're at work or you're out and about, etc. That way, it's already preheated by the time you get home, or your food may already be done by the time you get home. And then I just hit start. But it works really well because, again, if you're disabled and you're having a really bad pain day and or like you have a, you know, you can't get into your wheelchair without a caretaker, and let's say your caretaker's not home or they're busy, or you just want to gain a little bit of independence, or if you are blind and this is screen reader accessible, then it'll be easier for you to be able to do this independently. And that's the power of smart technology and primarily who it was designed for. But again, they market it to everybody, even though. So I'm going to hit start. And it's preheating and it goes back and forth. And when it's done, there will be a banner that pops on your phone that states that it's done preheating. And also on the literal oven itself, the temperature, you know, will be displayed and it'll go up to your desired preheating amount. And to stop it, I hit the power button and hit yes, and it goes off. I can set a kitchen timer and I can even turn on the light. And turn it off. And then there are recipes, there are extras, which this actually pairs with Amazon Alexa, and it also pairs with Google as well. And this works really well for anybody that has vision issues and this app is not screen reader accessible, you can say, hey Alexa, or hey Google, and I don't have either of those appliance, like either of those, so I feel comfortable saying it, and it's not going to happen. Preheat my oven, or do this, or do that. So there's that. And then there are like recipes. And you can also scan the barcode on the back of the package, and they will automatically set up like the preheat settings based on the barcode on the back. And then they've got like a bunch of other stuff, and then with convenience. But this is more for like the fridge and coffee makers and stuff like that. And then support, they have their phone number, their hours, and then that's it.